Kristen Martin here again, pediatric occupational therapist, and I'm staying home right now with my 5 kids while we are all told to stay home. So I am here to share another round of 5 ways to play with a common household item while you are staying at home. And this will hopefully apply to all different ages. So today we are going to be talking about ways to play with boxes, specifically cereal boxes, or even if you don't eat cereal in your house, you can use any other type of food box, popcorn, you can use rice or pasta boxes, things like that. So we're going to talk about some ways that we can play with these boxes. The first way that you can play with these boxes is by cutting off the front of it, or you can use the back if you like. There's some fun things usually on the back of those boxes as well. And then you are going to make a puzzle out of it. So you can make this easy or difficult. You can cut it into just 2 pieces. You can cut it into 50 pieces, whatever you think would meet your child's ability and interest level for putting the pieces back together. You might also want to snap a quick picture of the cereal box before you cut it up so that they know what the finished product should look like. And if you want your child to get involved with making the puzzles, that's also a great way to work on hand strengthening as they're cutting, because this cardboard is a little bit thicker than regular paper, so it's going to give your hand a little bit more of a workout as you're cutting. So your child can make a puzzle for you. That would also be a fun activity. The second way that we can play with these boxes, and I'm going to use just an empty box of microwave popcorn for this activity, is by punching holes, just little holes, on one side of the box. The way I did this was I just kind of poked through it with a sharp knife, and then I used scissors to turn it and make the holes a little bit bigger. And then you can make this a fun fine motor activity by cutting up straws, or we can go back to using those Q-tips like we talked about last week, cutting those in half, and then your child can, oops, I just dropped that one. Your child can push the straws or the Q-tips or whatever you want into the holes. And that's a fun little fine motor activity. If you don't have those items to push through, you can use your imagination. You can find things in your kitchen, maybe little beans or little pieces of pasta or whatever you may have lying around. Just be careful with kids who are still mouthing items that whatever you're putting in this isn't a choking hazard. And then the third way that we can play with these empty food boxes is by using them in an obstacle course. So the weather hasn't been super awesome around here, so I've been trying to come up with ways to keep the kids active inside, and you can use these boxes. You can collect multiple boxes, and you can make an obstacle course with them. You can use them as something that your child has to jump over. You can line them up and have them walk between them. You can even pile up some boxes and have them kick it over at the end of the obstacle course, pretend to be a ninja, see how many boxes they can kick over. So this is a great way to incorporate some of that gross motor activity while they are playing. And those boxes don't even need to be empty. You can pull them right off of your shelf, line them up, and then figure out a fun way to play with them. The fourth way that you can play with these boxes is to play an I Spy game. This is a great activity for using your eyes to scan the box and identifying different colors and shapes and letters. So you can just look at this box and then you can say, I spy the letter C. And then your child can point to the C, or I spy something red. And they can point to the strawberries. If they're reading words, you can give them a word to try and find. You can do this all over the box. There's a lot of words on those nutrition labels, so that's a great way to look at those little letters and numbers. If you're feeling adventurous, you can even give them a permanent marker and they can circle whatever it is that you're telling them to find as an added way of practicing some of those writing skills and giving them kind of that fun opportunity to use a type of writing implement that we might not normally let them use. And then the fifth and last way that we can play with these boxes is to turn it into what I like to call a put-in box. And you're going to be able to use this in a variety of ways, but this is how I created my little put-in box with a empty box of cereal. I turned it into a bunny just because spring is here, even though we got like 8 inches of snow last night. It is officially spring. Easter's coming up, so that's a fun animal to turn it into, but you can turn this into any type of container that would appeal to your child. Maybe it's a video game character or another animal that they really like, or even a monster. And if your child wants to, they can help you decorate the box. You can just cover it with any kind of scrap paper. You can look through some of your children's like old papers that they brought home from school, or use the back of any kind of old mailings that you've gotten, and you can just tape it around the box and then turn it into a character. And then what I did was I used a sharp knife, and then I just cut out a mouth for the character, and then you can feed it whatever you want. For this, I just cut up some little pretend carrots, and your child can just feed it those little carrots. But to up the ante a little bit, you can write letters on these. You can cut out all different shapes. If your child's working on shapes, you can tell them to, find the triangle and then feed the bunny. You can also add math problems to these if your kids are working on math problems, so you can really vary that for all different levels of play. I also like to add a little bit more of a movement component by spreading out all of these things, maybe all around the room, and then you give your child a direction like, go pick up 2 carrots, and then they have to run around, pick up the 2 carrots, and then feed the bunny. But like I said, they could feed the bunny anything. This is a pretend bunny, so it doesn't have to just eat carrots. It could eat little cars. It could eat little balls of aluminum foil. Whatever you want to make for it to eat, it can eat. And your child can help you cut that up as well so that they can be a part of that activity. I like to leave the opening on the top so that it's easy to retrieve the items after the game is over, but this is something that you can make and change up to keep the interest level going. So that is what I have for 5 ways to play with empty cereal boxes or other food boxes. And I hope that you have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.